2019, I went to the doctor to get my lab results. When the doctor came in the room, she looked at me and said, "Miss Owens, you have leukemia and you need to get a stem cell transplant." She told her nurse to make the appointment for me, and I interjected and said, "Hold on." And she replied, "Miss Owens, do you know how serious this disease is?" And I said, "Yes, ma'am, I do. But if you give me 3 months, and if I come back in and the test results still say the same, I will agree to go get a stem cell transplant." I went home and I did the regimen. And when it was time for me to go back in to get my new test results, she looked dead undetected and she smiled and she handed. I left the doctor's office and it's feeling good. But as time went on, I did lose my insurance. And I couldn't find a doctor. Life, problems, setbacks, situations, lack of sun, lack of sleep. I really wasn't eating. I really wasn't drinking a lot of water. And the enormous stress that was on me, my leukemia came back with a vengeance. Now, the first time, I really didn't have any signs except for being fatigued. But that's to be expected because I do have sons with autism that I take care of. But this time, my joints was hurting. It felt like I was walking on an eggshell. I had black marks all over my body. Because, see, leukemia is a blood disease. And it means that your blood is toxic. And it shows on your skin, everywhere. My kidneys was failing. I was urinating black chocolate milk for 4 months. When I went into the doctor's office, when I did find a doctor, they was telling me that it was an infection. As time went on, I never forget the day. It was 3 days before Christmas 2 years ago. I was urinating pure blood. And I didn't want to disturb or interrupt the joy, the happiness. For Christmas, I waited until the 26th and I went to the hospital and I was admitted. When I got there, I was so dehydrated. I stayed in the hospital for a week, and the whole time, round the clock care, I was getting fluids of IV. I also had an infection, and I was getting antibiotics. Now, the last day that I stayed in the hospital, the doctor came and he laid his hand on my shoulder and he said, "Miss Owens, you are bleeding internally and we don't know where." In all essence, he was telling me there's nothing else more that we could do. They sent me home on hospice. Now, the nurse didn't come with me that day, but she came the next day. And when she came to my house and knocked on the door, I said, "Return to sender." I did not allow for them to come in my house. Because once you allow somebody in your house, that means that you are in agreement while they are there. And in my mind, I wasn't going nowhere. After she left, I was still weak, fatigued. I was really tired. And I was bedridden for 3 months. Being bedridden took a toll on me mentally and physically. I told God I couldn't live like this. I was tired, but I wouldn't give up. I prayed, I praised, I persevered. When I looked up, I got up. There was a shift. I knew I had to go deeper. Not only did I change what I was putting in my body, I flooded my body and my cells with fluids, fruits, and vegetables, but also what was eating me. I had to forgive and let go. There came a moment when I realized I couldn't carry everything. The worry, the pain, the pressure to fix what only God could heal. I had to let go and let God. I had to release control and allow him to be God while I learned how to simply be me, Nadine. When I stopped trying to be everything for everyone and started letting God heal me, I found peace in his presence. I started loving myself again. I began to understand that self-care isn't selfish, it's stewardship. By filling my cup, I can pour into my sons from a place of strength and wholeness, not emptiness and exhaustion. Letting go meant trusting God with what I couldn't change and working on what I could. My mindset, my habits, my health, my heart. It meant allowing his grace to rewrite my story, his love to remind me that I am enough. Now, every day I wake up and say, God, you be God and I be me. Because when I stay in my lane and let him lead, everything begins to fall into divine order.